need my hair.
Okay, we back, y'all. We back. Sorry about that.
JR, that is Mario, not R. Kelly, stupid.
Shut your ass up.
So we back,
You
y'all.
and your deep ass
So
voice, back to the trenches.
we back, y'all. Mona, you had a question for me.
My voice is deeper than yours.
Huh?
You right about that, little fella.
Said you had a question. You had a question before we got cut off.
Oh, I said,
Yeah,
do
everybody,
you
Jason had
encounter
to pay his
mental health
bill.
issues being a black man? Like, issues that occur for black men. Like, what are those issues?
I think that for like a lot of it is just a feeling of, and JR, you can, they say you're a black man. You look like you waffle colored.
I love it.
A lot of it is like feeling it's a pressure.
I'm 100%
It's
grade A man. Beefcake over here, buddy.
You ain't grade A.
He said, as a black man. Go ahead, Jason.
I think a lot of it is like it's feeling like you aren't, like you're not good enough for the world. There's always this feeling of otherness when you walk into, especially when you walk into predominantly white spaces. Being feared for no reason. That can like drain on you after a while. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
JR, what are your thoughts? Or you don't have no mental health issues, huh?
Man, listen. I don't know about you, but I love being black.
I love being black too. Don't get me wrong.
No, it's not
Huh?
that. But what are your challenges that affect you mentally? Because the world.
I don't really have none, to be honest with you.
To the world, but
I
you
just go
ain't
with
in
the
love
flow.
with black men.
I don't have none.
JR, you know what? You know what though? I think the part of the reason that you don't have no mental struggles is because you're a mental struggle for everybody else. You just.
I concur.
So, JR, you don't feel no kind of way if you go in the store and somebody clutch their purse when they walk by you?
You ain't pay that no attention.
I mean, I notice it, but it don't affect me. I just laugh at it and say, man, these people crazy. And just keep it moving. I mean, and to be honest with you, sometimes what I do is, if I see somebody watching me, I just keep walking around the store a lot, like I'm stealing.
Right, but that's like you have to think about, like, I would think I know for me it gets tiring having to be, a lot of times I like to say having to be the avatar for my entire race. I got to make sure that I am always on my best behavior, because it could be, if I slip up, or if I have a bad day, or if I'm, not in the best of spirits and somebody say something and I act out, then it's look at them. That's what them niggas do.
But see, I don't even think about that. Like I be at work and the white people say stuff to me all the time, and I act a fool at work around the white people, and I be laughing. But like I tell them all the time, shit. One thing, when the music come on, I can dance. So I got rhythm to this song. Y'all don't. So,
But like I have to commend you. If you are able to go through and not have that affect you, like that stuff affect you, what do you like? How do you do that?
I don't know. I mean, it's just me, I guess. I don't know where I got that from.
It's his defense mechanism.
Listen,
Probably so.
You just don't give a F. That's all. Just don't care what other people think.
Okay, Brandy, you can cuss.
Yeah, this is rated R here.
Okay. Well, just
She don't cuss like that anyway. So
just don't care. Don't we worry about what other people doing. Hey, they gonna feel how they gonna feel. You just gotta keep living your life.
I feel you on that, but I think that a lot of it is we are. I feel like we inherited a lot of mental strain just being black. You know what I mean?
But what can you do about it? You can't really do nothing about it.
Well, the first thing you can do is go see a therapist.
First of all, I don't go to therapy. I don't need to. I feel like I'm fine. Ain't nothing wrong with me. And what can a therapist say on me that I don't already know?
I feel like I need to go to
Well, you
therapy.
should go and let us and report back to us and let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know how it went.
Right.
It went fine. I'm good.
You might encounter some things that you didn't even think about that you
The
suppressed.
way that you said that statement, like, yeah, I got this.
Then guess what? If it's suppressed, then I want to leave it suppressed.
That's what I was thinking too, JR.
Well, here's the thing, like
But sometimes when it's suppressed, it comes out and
that manifests in a whole different way. It'll manifest completely
It's not
different.
good. I had a soldier this week, literally, that suppressed his issues, and
Can
is
somebody
now
give her some
literally-
tea?
Like, what's on your voice? Just 2 days ago, you was.
I had a soldier one time.
Let her talk. Before she can't holler.
She done muted herself and everything.
But not get her.
So who's the man tonight, Jackie? You or Dion?
JR.
It is about that. It is about that with Dion for you, unfortunately.
Listen, JR, this is why I said you a mental health struggle for everybody else.
I think JR, Mona, I think when you said JR suppress it and it come out a certain way, this is how
it comes out.
Yep.
Oh, y'all my therapist. See? Look at it.
Well, here's the thing. I think if you have a strong enough bond with your family, they can become a safe space for you to work your shit out, but they are not licensed.
Right.
Right. And that's
Hold
their
on.
whole family.
Hold on. Just because somebody licensed, they don't know you like your family know you, right?
But okay, so here's the difference between, like, to me, I feel like talking to a therapist is good because you have somebody that you can talk to that doesn't have any skin in the game. Like they don't care. You know what I mean? So like they're neutral.
They're gonna stay neutral to an extent, to a certain point, and then at some point they're gonna agree with everything you saying because you're paying them.
No,
So
no. Their job is to do the opposite of that.
I don't know. I don't need therapy. You need therapy?
Am I a black man in America? Am I black in America? Then yes, I need therapy. I personally.
On my couch. I got you.
You ain't no.
You don't trust my skin?
Jason, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
How do you feel now that we like do this at least every Tuesday? Has that helped any?
Yeah. I feel like I have to. Like I used to see a therapist all the time. I don't see them as much anymore. But this is part of my therapy. You know, coming on here, talking to you guys, laughing, joking, having that connection to family, is part of my mental health. But I also think that there are some people that don't have that same connection. You know what I mean? If my family wasn't who my family was, I would be a therapist 3 times a week. You know what I mean? Like, it is.
Well, let's put this on the record now for anybody that's listening. If anybody who got a family and their family ain't as cool as ours, you can always come in here.
Don't do that.
No. We're not doing that again.
Let's do that. Because sometimes people need that. They need somebody to make them laugh.
You know what? Go to a therapist.
Listen, just because you like 4 foot nothing.
Yeah.
The twins are like, we're not doing this.
I'm gonna need therapy after I see Jerry hair. Show us these 2 cans.
At least I got hair. Shit.
You ever notice that Jerry and JR are like, they're like 2 complete opposites?
Yeah, they are.
He wish he could be like me.
Man, listen, you almost as bold as me anyway.
Twins?
Whatever.
On your chat.
I don't think that they do know that I think it's been brought up that they're twins.
I don't think so. They don't need to. We don't look alike, so it's all right. We paternal.
Yes, y'all do.
Y'all do look alike.
Jerry, I told you before, every time your husband kissed me, he's looking at my face.
No, he is not.
Wow, the way Jerry said that, Jerry.
Why you so fascinated with my husband?
Hey, tell Shay look at the screen. Hey, tell Shay look at the screen. Here we go, Shay.
I'm good.
You're an asshole.
But I mean, I also think that like you have to and we've talked about this, and in the immediate family with like Jackie and Solange. I was thinking Cece was going to be here today so we could talk. Sometimes having a therapist like is a way to get those thoughts out, or those things that sometimes you can't say stuff, out loud, or you would feel a way about saying things. And you don't necessarily, it's not necessarily that you mean like what I can't say it without give an example without saying something that would cause problems.
Okay.
But sometimes there are those things that you cannot say out loud, even to family. But this person has no connection. Their job is to, take in the information that you give, say something back, and then let it go. And having that person that you can have that innermost thought conversation with, you know what I mean? Like, I'll try to do an example. I don't really believe that my mother would say this, but say she was in her therapist, and she would be like, you know what? My son is really getting on my damn nerves. I really don't think I love him because that's my son, but I don't like him. That's not something that you can say to the family. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But you can say that to your therapist.
Whatever. I say that to my damn kids sometimes. I love you, but I don't like you right now.
Yeah, Jerry a terrible mother, so.
I am not a terrible mother.
Jared, you ain't got to explain to him.
He
don't know nothing about being a mother.
Nope.
But I mean, but like, you know what I mean? Like stuff like that you can't necessarily, that there's a level of feeling that you would even feel guilty saying something like that or thinking that. But that doesn't mean you don't think it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think that, there are things, I think just the fellowship with the family is good for mental health. But if there's something that you have to get out that you necessarily don't want everybody to hear, then you take that to, whomever you pay for or your choice. I think that it's nothing wrong with that at all. And that way, because most of the time it's just that you just got to talk it out.
Right.
And then you feel better.
Right. You don't necessarily feel those ways. It's that you may have an emotion that is charged to that you have to explore and get that out.
Right.
I also think that like one of the things I remember talking, someone in our family, I'm not going to say who, used to say, you don't need a therapist, just take it to the altar. And I used to I have a problem with that statement.
Why?
And why is that?
Because I feel like you are not actually doing, to me, that's not doing the work that you need to do to get past those things. If you say, hey, look, I'm going to give this to Jesus and let that be what it is, you know what I mean? And move on. You're not actually doing the process and the work that you need to be doing to actually get past that stuff.
I understand that.
Well, that's how you feel about it, but people who are heavily into the church, that the altar is was your therapy. That was where you went. You didn't back in the day, you didn't discuss your business outside of the home, and you took it to Jesus.
Oh, we can have this discussion. We can have this discussion after, so we don't say nobody's names on there. But the person that said this needs to go seek a therapist.
Brandon, what the hell is wrong with you?
Brandy, you gotta turn your phone up.
Oh, can that hear me? I wanted to comment.
Okay.
Well, then just start talking. You ain't gotta say hello.
Well, I wanted to know if y'all can hear me or not.
Yes.
Yeah, I was hearing you, but I wasn't being acknowledged.
You need therapy.
Yes, I probably do. Maybe so.
Brandy, go ahead.
Today. So yes. So I I agree. Well, I kind of agree with what Jason's saying. Yes, sometimes people do, or highly religious people do say take it to Jesus, and that's it at the same time, or whoever you believe in. But at the same time, um, I believe that God created therapists for a reason. So
Yes.
yes, take it to Jesus, but you also need to seek somebody as far as the therapy goes to make sure that you deal with those problems, because yes, yes, although your relationship with Jesus Christ is important or whatnot, you might not necessarily know how to deal with that or with whatever you're going through.
Yep.
I say the same people who say take it to Jesus is the same people that be. Never mind, that was about to be real rude and cross.
Well, that's a lot of people do say that, but there's a lot of people in ministry who go and talk to a therapist. Just like if there you have a cancer or if you have something, you're going to take it to Jesus and you're going to walk yourself on into that hospital and get chemo or whatever. If you take it to Jesus, I've taken it to Jesus and left it there and it worked. But there are some things that Jesus has provided for us here in this world, and I go and take part in that. I.e., like a doctor. If I need to go to the doctor for anything, I will go. While I'm going, I'm praying.
I don't have an issue with the term take it to the altar, take it to Jesus.
But you just said you can't stand.
No, when you say you don't need a therapist, take it to Jesus. That's what I mean.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Staying back in the day for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need no therapist, take it to Jesus. You don't need no therapist, take it. That I have an issue with.
Well, that was very common, especially in the Black community. But even now, the Black community is starting to say, you know what, we do need some therapy, because we're taking it to God, and He probably telling us to go to therapy, but we're not listening to that part of it.
Right.
Yep, that's true. Yeah,
because that was very common in the Black community. Not only that, you didn't have the means.
A lot of times, I mean, the thing is, I personally feel like therapy should be one of those things. I'd say, especially in the Black community, like if you have more than 8% Black in you, you should have that should be part of reparations. A licensed and legal therapist to see at your leisure. You know what I mean? Because you have, our history is rooted in pain. It's rooted in trauma.
Yes, it is. I agree on that. I agree completely with that.
And so when when what we have done as a community for the last 400 years is cope and survive. We haven't ever, we don't thrive, because we haven't gotten to the point where we can just, we're just now getting to the point where we're able to thrive on some levels, but like there's still this there's trauma in our bones.
It looks good, Brandy.
It does look good, Brandy.
Yes.
We don't, but we are talking about something. I love it.
Now, I want to say, let's not take away from back in the day when we did not go to therapy. Some people didn't go to the doctor or none of that. They took it to the Lord. And
right.
That was it. And we had survivors that way as well. So I'm not going to even deflate that and make that like something minor, when that's that great faith that you have that miracles can happen, and they do. So
right.
I look at it on both sides.
Yeah, I'm never going to take that away. We've all had, I have my issues with organized religion, but my love for the Lord is different. You know what I mean?
Right. And there's nothing wrong with that.
But it is, and for me, when I look at that, like, if somebody told me, because someone did tell me, don't worry about no therapist, just take that to Jesus, and my immediate thought was, looking at your life, if that is what taking it to Jesus looks like, I'm going to the therapist. You know what I mean? Like,
I hear you.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I can see that, because the person who's telling you that, you want them to have a testimony to say to you. Yeah, you want to see. Okay, they can say this is what Jesus did, and you're like, wow. Okay, I definitely need to take it to Jesus. But I guess you didn't feel that way. You didn't see that.
I didn't see that. I saw that you should have been right there beside me, waiting for your next appointment as well. You know what I mean?
Oh man.
And so it's like, it's like, I have, and again, it's something that, especially in our community, that I feel like we struggle with, and I think, JR, part of the reason that you're like, I don't need no therapist, I'm fine, is because especially as black men, we are taught to be like that anything
to suppress your emotions.
Suppress your emotions. That's seen as a sign of weakness. If I'm telling you I'm not okay today mentally, that's a sign of weakness. So you just go and go and go and go and go, and then you wonder why 45 years from now you like, I don't like nobody. I hate that. Like, I'm angry. You're angry and bitter and wondering why people, you have this aura around you of just like funk, and it's because you didn't do the work and the cleanup of the stuff because you've always been strong. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes being strong is saying, look, not okay.
You know where a lot of minds come from, and I probably don't get I ain't gonna say we're depressed or anything like that, is because, for one, I lost my parents at an early age. So I realized that life ain't guaranteed tomorrow. So why am I holding on to be stressed and all that other stuff as something? I push it, let it go. That's always been my thing. I'm gonna just let it go. So that's probably why nothing gets to me, because that's just how I've been ever since my parents passed away. So I still live by that. Like, I don't let nothing stress me out. For what?
So I think that is a healthy.
Like you should have you could have benefited from therapy when you were younger, when Ma and your dad passed away.
Probably not. No.
You don't. I do.
I disagree with that, because that's traumatic. That's a traumatic thing. You know what I mean? And you have to.
It's traumatic, but I know how to just keep going on with life. I understand.
Well, let me say
I know how life goes.
I believe that you feel that way, but I can name incidences where your behavior reflected that you needed that.
Ooh, here we go. Yeah, hi, Cece.
Don't walk away.
She just dropped her hammer and walked away. Look,
I was scooping up these leaves.
Listen, and what happened was funny is I looking at JR's face like,
hey, Cece.
Wait,
that was the most quiet we seen JR.
Just had a possible gas leak at that community. Sorry for the tardiness.
Oh, Lord.
Oh no.
Did you have a gas leak or no?
No, we didn't. They said it was all right. They turned the gas off, but you call the police, and the first thing they was like, you need to evacuate. And I'm like, what are we gonna do? Where are we evacuating?
Right.
Yeah, but you have to, because if it's a gas leak.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It's okay.
Well, thank God.
You would have had to push some beds outside.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Then you got the residents where I'm like, let's get the residents out of this area and just get them in their rooms. Why we gotta go to her room? I want to watch TV. Lord. I know you see these firemen walking into here but I want to watch TV. What? Oh, gosh. Okay. Well, we'll figure it out.
So since we're talking about mental health,
Right up my alley.
and Mona just threw a bomb in JR's direction and then walked away.
I
heard
was
it.
not thinking I was trying to put these leaves in the trash. But I say that not just I think it's for Jerry and JR.
Honestly,
Also, me and Michelle probably could have benefited from it too.
honestly, if I'm being completely honest, every single one of us could have benefited from that.
What's the
Yeah,
question? Like, what are y'all talking
I have
about?
not yet said that I haven't been anywhere. So, because
What are y'all talking about?
I had more than just the traumatic issues with mom. I had other stuff too.
Right.
That could, I could have been a lot angrier, and I could have been something that I should not have been. So I've learned how to control emotions and put them in their little compartment.
Right.
I learned how to do that.
I think that all of us could have benefited from therapy after Anjali's passing, because it was traumatic for all of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that was at that time the glue.
And she was so young.
And she was so young.
But
like
at the end of the day, what me and JR both feel the same way is they are no longer suffering.
right.
So that's how we let it go, because I'd rather you go and no longer suffer than you stay here with me suffering.
Right.
Still. So I've been made peace, because I don't want to see, I don't like to see people suffering for stuff and I can't do nothing to help. So
No, it makes sense. It's I do, like, I look at the four of you, and as like the I can get through anything. You know what I mean?
And the crazy part is maybe Ralph, his was more of a surprise, but Ma actually prepared us. She didn't even know why she was preparing us, but she kept saying, hey, if this happened and that happened, she kept doing that like over and over again. And then after a while, we were like, are you planning on going somewhere? She didn't even know. She had no clue. She even got Aunt Deborah as well. Hey, if this happened, she was preparing us. This is before she even knew that she was real sick. She didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel that comes from God.
Mm-hmm.
It's like she tapped into that spirit that said, hey, you might need to prepare your family. She didn't know why she kept saying it, but she did. She kept saying it over and over again. So, I think that she talked to you too, right, JR? She talked to all of us. And so that kind of...
She was giving me bank informations and all stuff. I was like, I don't know nothing about this crap.
what the hell? I ain't getting none of this.
Because you was a nobody.
Your mother.
So she prepared, So I think that kind of, it's never easy, and you never want it to happen. But I think that kind of segued us into what was about to happen.
Right, and watching everybody, to me, like, as a young person, was like watching the 5 stages of grief and individual forms. You know what I mean? Like, seeing the anger and the sadness and the bargaining and all of that stuff, and then seeing JR being who JR is. You know what I mean? Who is,
right. Mm-hmm.
Nothing really gets to him as far as we see. Now, do I think the stuff gets to him, by him when he's alone in his thoughts? Absolutely. But he doesn't show that. Showing Mona and Michelle's strength and just, how they, like, took the reins the way that they did. You know what I mean? And just said, okay, this is what we're going to do. Like, seeing that made me feel like, okay, there's nothing I can't get through. You know what I mean? Especially at the age of 15. You know what I mean? Like, it was, or 14, I think. Yeah, but there's nothing I can't get through. There's nothing I can't do or I can't handle. Because I don't believe that God won't give you more than He can handle. I think that I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I believe that God gives you so much that you don't have a choice but to go.
I don't know. Sometimes I be wanting to ask, please lighten my load. I'm tired.
Right. I don't believe that I believe that He'll give you so much you ain't got no choice but to go to Him. You know, that's my belief. He'll be like, look, I can't do this. I need your help. And so it is. Watching you guys was like, okay, this is how it helped me, especially going through what I was going through, you know, emotionally and stuff at that time. It helped me get to a place where I was like, I can make it. You know, I can get through this little thing that's happening in my brain. You know, is nothing compared to what's going on out in the world.
Right.
We need to lighten this up because this is getting real heavy.
Right.
Hey, Jason over there about to cry and stuff.
No, I'm not.
I see your glasses fog up a couple times.
We got you muted so your ass is about to cry. Be quiet.
I wish you know, Jay, I don't talk to y'all, but I wish she stopped fucking talking to me all the goddamn time, waking me up every damn morning.
You're his twin.
That's that twin energy.
That's that twin thing. He don't want to talk to us. He want to talk to his twin.
We ain't that close.
You was a damn we ain't that close lie.
Exactly.
He over there muted. Who are you talking to?
Probably Siobhan. He talk.
Siobhan, what up to you at?
You and JR talk every day, don't y'all?
We did. Well, we used to, but now that he working and all that, he don't call me no more, so I got to call him.
Oh.
So wait, you was just complaining about all that calling she was doing.
Because he's working.
You know the only time he call or text me, hey, let me borrow $50. Hey, let me borrow $5. I need a Red Bull.
Well, what's the problem?
Oh, wait a minute. You asked her to cash out you $5 for a Red Bull?
Listen, I'm feeling the judging here. You can cash out me too if you want. Be for lonely.
Yeah, wait on that. I'm not cash out you no damn $5.
You gonna cash at me, damn it, whatever I send a request to.
Yeah, try me.
Oh, you should do it like he did me and keep denying it so he can tell him too, hey, this person has denied you too many times.
Yeah, I don't send a random cash app request like you do, sir.
Jerry, you send a random cash app request?
Who?
You.
So what happened to that guy Jackie? She sure did get quiet.
Shut up, Jay.
They
went to Walmart.
Wait, no, y'all didn't Walmart. That guy Jackie.
Look, you can see her in the store.
Yeah, they in Walmart.
Yeah, there you go. Well, she look like she didn't want nobody to see her flicking the phone off.
She trying to do it. Look, she was trying to do it in secret. That's because Mom next to her.
I never flicked Jay off too. He the only one that got to that point. You good, Jay? You real good.
Nah.
So, Cece, what are your thoughts on, like, you? Are you there?
What?
So, what are your thoughts on mental health in the Black community?
I don't think that it is. I think it's overlooked. I think that because of how we are in our own community, especially like the stuff about like talking and being open and all of that stuff. I think it's not something that is really dealt with because we're supposed to be the strong culture and you can get through it. And I love my Lord. And that, God will heal everything. But I don't think that it gets the attention that it really should get. That's just my thought.
Well, I think now it's a lot more open than before.
Yeah, like, I think it's getting much better, personally.
Yeah.
I think
it's still not where it could be or should be, but right. I think it is still overlooked sometimes. but I think it's gotten a lot better.
It's gotten a lot better. I think we have made especially Black women have made a concerted effort to talk about and highlight mental health in the community.
Exactly. Because you take things like Simone Biles, you take you take some of, who else is doing, like Taraji P. Henson, like, you're taking all these people who are kind of bringing it to light, I guess.
Yeah, which is like...
Yeah, because, and I think that mental health for Black men is very important because it's deep rooted because, I tell people all the time that because Black men are expected to be strong, and I can even say sometimes Black women are so harsh. In general. So harsh on we can sometimes be very, very harsh, but a lot of times on Black men, but a lot of times it's because we know what they're capable of. And, and I realize that sometimes, like, in the workplace, certain places, Black men are looked over.
Right.
Because the biggest fear for a lot of people is a Black man. And God forbid, let them be educated too. They don't know what to do with that.
Right. Like I had a boss.
I think that's the same for Black women too, though. I feel that's the same for Black women just as much as for Black men. I think I think in all aspects is for all of it, like just Black people in general, because either you have to be a strong Black woman, support your family, do all this stuff, or you have to be a strong Black man because, you are looked at as someone who, in this kind of, well, that song, Leroy, what is it? Bad Leroy Brown or something? Like, I've never really, right, like I've never really listened to the words of that song, but then when you're listening to it, and I don't know if it's because, you listen to it in the culture that I work in right now, predominantly around a culture. And so when I heard the words of the song, like Leroy Brown is the baddest man in a whole damn town, bigger than old King Kong, meaner than a junkyard dog. And that is like old King Kong. Yeah, like that is like, if you think about like that song, it's just like that's how they portray or looked at Black men, like the big Black man, scary, mean, you know what I mean? So you have that kind of thing that goes on with Black men that they have to go through all that. Like, I'm not this mean person that you have perceived me to be society-wise, and then like
wait a minute. I need y'all.
I can't listen to it again.
Sis, I heard everything that you just said, but did y'all see Brandy's little dance?
No, she was dancing.
Brandy was doing this like I got a pastry dance.
I can't.
Wait a minute, you got mad at her for jumping in talking about lasagna, and you just changed the whole subject.
Because I couldn't let that go. No, but since I hear you, like,
what you were saying.
I hear you, and I understand what you're like. When you think about that, as Black people in general are always classified as aggressive. You know what I mean? To the point where even the way that we speak is...
I think to some degree we are a little bit aggressive, but that's because of
we have to be.
We have to go through. It's the norm.
Right.
That's been our thing.
Yeah, you had to fight to be heard.
We have to fight to be heard. We have to fight for, just to even be seen. And so just the way that, we're just looked at on an actual society in a sense, the white man, truthfully, is, why we are aggressive. Like we haven't, we are aggressive, but not like in a way where we are aggressive to where we can't like be, kind and or have feelings. Cause it's almost like we're not supposed to have feelings. Like that's the thing. Like you have your feelings, but have your feelings for a minute. That's it. Like get over it and get back to work. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Having feelings, having anything to say, all of that is like, you know, you were whipped, you're beat, you're all these things. And if you do, also in our culture is just like how we, even as Black people, perceive, you know, in a sense, that ourselves, just because I think it's just been programmed in a way for us to think a certain way. Like, if you cry, if you share, if you do like all that kind of stuff, just having feelings is just like not, what are you doing?
Right. It's like, oh my God, you feel.
Yeah,
I
like, what you
mean,
doing?
it's
You know
just
what I'm
like
saying?
at work, if Karen and I say the same thing in the same way, I'm the bitch and Karen is just assertive.
Yeah.
You are the bitch, but we're gonna talk about that another day.
JR, shut up. You so, where is she going at?
Also,
For you.
it might come up as we should be privileged, so we shouldn't have a voice because we should be so privileged to live in this country.
Who said that to you?
Because look, that's the conversation that they don't want to have with me. Somebody at work tried it. They tried it, and I had to remind them. And all I did was I took it to the history books. I was like, "Oh, you're Irish, and you know your family was here." And so I said, "Oh yeah, I'm Irish too. I have Irish in my blood too." I said, "However, the Irish."
You ain't got no Indian in that head though.
Shut up! But we had dialogue because I think it's important to have.
I'm gonna have to make a counter to put at the bottom of the screen.
Civilized conversation. I'm gonna just leave it at that. I'm not gonna go into details. But
Listen, we can look. That's a conversation for another day. We can have.
Yeah,
but I think that
to break down history and let people know is that this country does not belong to us. This country belongs to Native Americans. This is their country. It was invaded.
We're
and then a class of people were hunted like animals and brought over here against their will.
Right.
So,
man, slavery was a choice. No, what you mean?
All right, Kanye.
And then we can get into then you have to get into the difference between indentured servitude and chattel slavery. Like, it's a lot.
If you're going to go that route, and to some degree, it was a choice for some people, but not for all. That is
right, and when the Irish came over, they were in indentured servitude. They weren't treated so nice. They came over here because of blight.
Right. Mm-hmm. They weren't treated well, but they were not chattel slavery. There's a difference.
No, they were indentured.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. But nobody likes to talk about that.
But I think final thoughts on mental health, because we hanging up on an hour and a half. I mean, we did have a break, but
are there any more topics that you guys discussed?
Yeah, thanks to you not paying your cable bill, that's why we had to take a break.
Be quiet, JR.
Why shut up?
We know, Jackie, that was our Deborah. We know her voice. Because you sound different today. Jackie sound like Bubba Gump and shit.
I'm going to get a counter, and I'm going to make it at the bottom. And every time somebody tells you how to shut up, I'm just going to hit the button.
I know, we need to do that. So, Selene, Jason, can we have Selene give the final thought on mental health?
Yes.
Selene.
Listen, we don't want no little people giving the final thought,
shut up! Number.
And that will be Selene.
Be quiet, Selene.
You're the only person that think you got to be heard.
All the time.
I'm trying to give a final thought.
He's an attention whore.
See, this is why I have mental health.
So, Selene, please give your final thoughts on mental health, please. Thank you.
Final thought on mental health. I would say that if you are going through any kind of mental health issues, Lord have mercy, any kind of mental health issues, like, I think it's very important to make sure that you seek the help that you need. Make sure you have a great community, whether it be family, your friends, or a good support system. And, like, don't be afraid. Like, don't be afraid to talk about what you're feeling, what you're going through, because holding it in is it's dangerous. It's dangerous to your health. It's dangerous to those around you because, you know, when you're hurting, you hurt people. And so it is the best thing to make sure that when you recognize that there is something going on inside of you that is not, you know, the normal, that you seek help, no matter what it is and no matter what the people say, because counseling is a wonderful thing. I know in our culture, like, you don't need help, you just need God. But God wants us to take care of us too, so that we can be good vessels and disciples and all those good things for Him and His people. So that is my final thought on that.
And I will say this. I want to put this one last thing in there as well.
Final thought. See, this is the shit I'm talking about. I'm just kidding.
Nobody want to hear your final thought.
Well, I was gonna say, you know, if you need help, if you are struggling with something mentally, there are all kinds of resources out there online for you to check out. You know, as much as we like to say, you know, we don't need medication. Sometimes you have a chemical imbalance in your brain, and you need to get that. It needs to be corrected. Nothing is wrong with that. Nothing is wrong with that. And also, if you do speak out, understand that although that there might be somebody else in your group or in your circle that's going through the same thing, and they just need to hear somebody else going through it too. So, you know, that just piggybacks off of what Cece just said. Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of The Cousins. It's always a good time to have the gang all around. Don't forget to go to www.etsy.com/shops/Black Unicorn Magics. Use the code Unicorn Magics 25 or Colorful Magics 25 for 25% off of your purchase. Just as a note, next month, me and Black Unicorn Magics will be on our way to Atlanta for Black Fae Day. We will be going down and shooting a bunch of film and coming back here and editing it and making like a mini documentary. It's going to be dope.
May not be on a Tuesday.
Are y'all driving or flying?
We're driving.
You can drive to Atlanta, but you can't drive here.
Do you know how much further it is to Atlanta than it is to you?
Sorry, motherfucker. 10 hours.
Look, JR already clocked you.
It's 10 hours. What's the problem?
So that's 12 hours to Atlanta and then 10 hours to you.
Well,
no.
Gas up, baby.
Or we could all just meet in Atlanta and have a cousins reunion.
Boy, stop.
Well, you should have said
when
that
is this? Right. When are you doing this?
We could have.
Well, if I know, we just finalized the dates.
This how niggas lie. Oh, it was last minute.
Did you say you haven't finalized the date?
We have finalized the dates. It's in May. It's for the Black Fae Day convention.
When is that?
When is that?
It is a black cosplay convention.
Not what is it? When is it?
Oh, May 15th.
Oh, that's my vacay time.
So we can meet there is what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Speaking of outings, we were talking about.
We can talk about that.
Unless you trying to have everybody go to the show.
We're still on Zoom.
So everybody, say good night.